Alright, hello everybody. It is I, Granorite, and here we are back with another episode of Let's Play Pokemon Emerald with our Gen 3 type challenge of Flying type. Our team is going to be Jumpluff, Dodrio, Tropius, and Aerodactyl. So as we do, we're going to look at these Pokemon and their abilities here. Starting off at level 5, read some Pokemon biologies, and then we'll go get them to level 7. So we're starting off with Hoppip here, who is a medium slow leveling rate Pokemon. Hoppip is a round pink plant Pokemon with long green leaves growing on top of its head. The leaves on its head have ragged edges, similar to a dandelion. It has big triangular ears with dark insides and beady yellow eyes that lack pupils. Its arms and legs are stubby, and it has a short tail with a rounded tip. There is a circular yellow pad on the underside of each foot. Hoppip's body is very light, and it is easily lifted off the ground by winds and will drift in the air. Hoppip can sense approaching strong winds. In order to avoid being blown away, it clusters and links leaves with other Hoppips or grips the ground firmly with its feet. However, it enjoys gentle breezes. Hoppip tends to be carried by winds across vast distances and thus can be found all over the world except in cold regions. It lives in temperate grasslands, fields, mountains, and even urban environments. We will get our evolution from Hoppip into Skiploom at level 18 and then Jumpluff at 27. Our Gen 3 Pokedex information for Hoppip. Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald all say this Pokemon drifts and floats with the wind. If it senses the approach of strong winds, Hoppip links its leaves with other Hoppip to prepare being blown away. Fire Red says its body is so light it must grip the ground firmly with its feet to keep from being blown away. Leaf Green says to keep from being blown away by the wind, they gather in clusters. They do enjoy gentle breezes though. And this Hoppip, as you can see, its ability is Chlorophyll, so in bright sunshine, its speed is raised. Decent stats, but it doesn't know any damaging attacks right now. And it won't learn a damaging attack until level 10, so we're going to be swapping it in and out. Next we have Doduo. Doduo's ability is Early Bird, so it awakens quickly from sleep, which means its timer just counts up by 2 each turn instead of 1. Good attack, good speed, that's what it's going to be. Those Peck and Growl. A medium fast leveling rate Pokemon. Doduo is a 2-headed bipedal avian Pokemon. Each head has a long sharp beak and 2 beady black eyes. It has a bristly down-like covering of brown feathers on its body in both heads. A male has black flexible necks, whereas a female has brown necks. Both genders have brown legs. Each foot has 4 digits ending in a sharp claw. Both heads have an identical brain, however, it's believed that on occasion they may possess different brains. It is also theorized that the 2 heads communicate with some form of telepathy for coordination. Even when sleeping or nourishing itself with food and water, one head is usually awake and alert and keeps a keen eye out for enemies. The 2 heads switch turns every hour or so, with both only sleeping at the same time when they feel completely safe. Both heads have the same genes and battle together in perfect sync. Due to its almost non-existent wings, I don't see any. By almost non-existent, I think you mean non-existent. It cannot fly very well. However, it has developed legs that make it a powerful runner. Reaching speeds of 600 miles per hour, or 60 miles per hour, or 100 kilometers per hour. It energetically strides across plains, leaving large 4-inch or 10-centimeter deep footprints behind it. It can better maintain balance while running by raising and lowering its 2 heads. Doduo lives in wide open plains and grasslands and savannas. And we will evolve into Dodrio at level 31, so this will be our final evolution. Our Gen 3 Pokedex information for Doduo. Ruby says Doduo's 2 heads never sleep at the same time. Its 2 heads take turns sleeping, so one can always keep watch for enemies while the other one sleeps. Sapphire says Doduo's 2 heads contain completely identical brains. A scientific study reported that on rare occasions there will be examples of this Pokemon possessing different sets of brains. Emerald says even while eating or sleeping, one of the heads remains always vigilant for any sign of danger. When threatened, it flees at over 60 miles per hour. Fire Red says a 2-headed Pokemon that was discovered as a sudden mutation. It runs at a pace of over 60 miles per hour. And Leaf Green says a bird that makes up for its poor flying with its fast foot speed leaves giant footprints. And next we have Tropius, who has chlorophyll for its ability, just like Hoppip. So in bright sunshine, its speed doubles. Good all-around stats. It's a tanky Pokemon. No evolution. No Gust and Leer right now. Tropius is a slow leveling rate Pokemon. Tropius is a large sauropod-like Pokemon with a brown body wrapped in green leaves on its chest and head. It possesses large broad leaves on its back, which it uses for flight and for sugar production via photosynthesis. Despite being very big and bulky, it is surprisingly maneuverable in the air. Hello, Krish. Welcome to the stream as we're reading some Pokemon biologies. Tropius has a long neck with a thin black line around it. It uses its neck for reaching treetops to gorge on its most favored fruit. Yes, we do have Pokerests on our Pokemon. Makes EV training go a little faster. Since it ate only this kind of fruit continuously, the fruit began to grow around its neck. These yellow banana-like fruits can be picked and consumed by other Pokemon or humans, and grow twice a year because of the rapid production of sugar in Tropius's leaves. Its feet have toenails the same color as its fruit. In warm areas, there are ranches that raise Tropius. In Alola, its fruit is especially sweet compared to those of other regions. It lives in tropical jungles, and in the trading card game, Tropius was shown existing before the time a fossil Pokemon went extinct. Yep, it is Bananasaurus, you're correct. And our Gen 3 Pokedex information for Tropius. Ruby says the bunches of fruit around Tropius' neck are very popular with children. This Pokemon loves fruit and eats it continuously. Apparently, its love for fruit resulted in its own outgrowth of fruit. Sapphire says children of the southern tropics eat as snacks the fruit that grow in bunches around the neck of Tropius. This Pokemon flies by flapping the leaves on its back as if they were wings. Emerald says it flies by flapping its broad leaves. The bunch of fruit that grows around its neck is deliciously sweet. In the spring, it scatters pollen from its neck. And Fire Red and Leaf Green says it lives in tropical jungles. The bunch of fruit around its neck is delicious. The fruit grows twice a year. And last but not least, we have Aerodactyls. We got 2 dinos on this team. Aerodactyl's ability is Rockhead, which prevents recoil damage. Good stats all around because it's a single evolution Pokemon. Currently only knows Wing Attack. Another slow leveling rate Pokemon. Aerodactyl is a reptilian bipedal prehistoric Pokemon that resembles a pterosaur with several draconic features. It has small, sharply pointed ears, narrow dark green eyes and a ridged snout, a gaping mouth, and a strong lower jaw full of serrated fangs. Its body is covered in light blue-gray skin, and it has large violet membranous wings. The clawed hands at the end of each wing allow it to grasp objects. There is a hump-like ridge with a spike on its back, and it has a strong tail with an arrow-shaped tip. Its talon-like feet have 2 toes in the front and 1 in the back, and are capable of scooping up and tightly clutching its prey in flight. Aerodactyl's serrated saw-like fangs and ferocious attitude were very imposing in its time. Its fangs can rip out throats and tear through the skin of any Pokemon to pieces, even Steel-type Pokemon. By spreading its wings, Aerodactyl is believed to have flown by gliding through the skies, freely letting out its high-pitched cries. However, it is slow to walk on land. It liked to nest in the mountains, where it enjoyed both safety and seclusion. Aerodactyl lived in prehistoric times and was theorized to become extinct thanks to a giant meteor impact. It was restored in modern times using genetic material extracted from amber. Some casualties occurred during these attempts. Jurassic Park all over. Even still, this restoration is not considered perfect. Our Gen 3 Pokedex information for Aerodactyl. Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald's Pokedex all say Aerodactyl is a Pokemon from the age of dinosaurs. It was regenerated from genetic material extracted from amber. It is imagined to have been the king of the skies in ancient times. Fire Red says it was regenerated from a dinosaur's genetic material that was found in amber. It flies with high-pitched cries. And Leaf Green says a ferocious prehistoric Pokemon that goes for the enemy's throat with serrated saw-like fangs. Alright. Now that we've had some fun reading about the Pokes, it's time to get them up to level 7. And of course, we're going to start with Hoppip since we have to swap it in and out. Hoppip is looking for special attack and special defense, so we're looking for Lotads and Ralts. We'll be swapping in and out with Tropius to share those EVs right now, because we don't care if Tropius gets those EVs. And of course, I'm going to speed through the grass training because I don't have to, you know, grass training's not exciting. We want to get to the trainer fights. Now, Tropius ideally is looking for HP and physical defense, which we'll focus on that once we finish getting Hoppip up. I would like this Ralts, but I wonder if we can have it kill itself. If we could get to the I'm going to let it use all its growls. We're going to see if we can just take it out with Hoppip here. By letting it use all its growls and then using Struggle, since we have Synthesis. And then I don't have to get that experience on Tropius as well. It's either going to run out of growls at the same time it run out of Splash, or here pretty close after we get after 10. So I think it's done. Yep. So we let it get us down about there, and then we just Synthesis, and this is how we take it out with Hoppip. Hooray! Hoppip took something out on its own without knowing a damaging attack. Alright, well, since we already got Tropius close to level 6, we'll just do it. So like I said, I want HP and physical defense on Tropius, which is Wurples and C-Dots. I would be surprised if we run into a C-Dot. They're pretty rare, but all the Wurples we can find, we will take down. Come on, Wurmples. Thank you. No. Yes. That'll get Tropius up to level 7. Alright, we'll do Aerodactyl next. So Aerodactyl wants attack and speed, which is Zigzagoons and Poochyenas. Oh, look at C-Dot. A tanky little Zigzagoon. I guess they were level 4, and we're only level 5. We just don't have our stats yet. That make us a powerhouse. No. I want Zigzagoons and Poochyenas. Thank you. One more level to go. Big old centipede on my wall over there. I just saw. Like seeing something large and black out of the corner of your eye on your wall, and you're like, what is that? No, we don't randomize encounter. We play the game exactly how it's set up. The only thing we randomize is our team. So if you want to see the rules that I follow, Chris, you can type in !rules. And that'll give you an idea of what we do for these monotype playthroughs. But we cheat the Pokemon into the game at the beginning of the game once our random generator chooses what our next team is going to be. And we only use those Pokemon through the entire team. And then once we've used them for that team of that type, we eliminate them from our list of available Pokemon, and we keep going until the list is depleted. So if you are interested to see what Pokemon we have left in the pool, I think we only have like 12 more playthroughs after this. Sounds right. And they're all on Flying Water and Normal type. So if you'd like to see the 12 playthroughs of Pokemon that we have left and what all of our previous teams were, you could type an !teams, and that will give you access to view our tracking document that viewers can use and see to see what Pokemon were available, what are available, and have been used. And then if you want to go back and watch any of the past playthroughs, they're all archived on my YouTube channel. But this allows us to just play the games as they are met with the different types and feel out the different challenges for those different types for those teams and the different Pokemon, because each Pokemon is unique to itself with its strengths and weaknesses. Some with a lot more weaknesses than strengths, some with a lot more strengths than weaknesses, but it kind of hit or miss. Everybody's at level 7, which means we are ready to move forward and beat up on some trainers. And we will start off with Aerodactyl up front for this first fight. Easy. I mean, Aerodactyl and Doduo are going to be our big glass cannons for the team. Blasting through everything. Alright, we got some Wurmples here. Nice. Alright, we got speed in this next fight. We'll swap Doduo up. And actually, I can tell you already that Hoppip's first damaging attack is going to be Bullet Seed when we get it from that trainer after the forest, and not something that it learns naturally. Bird v. Bird. 2 beaks are better than 1. Just keep Doduo up since we have it up already. Alright, and then for the Shroomish, we will go to Tropius. Nice. Grab this potion. Go talk to our dad and let Wally catch his Pokemon. Speed through this section. Alright. Speed through the talking with Scott. Let's get back to some battles. Very nice. And I expect that's what's going to be a lot with Aerodactyl through this entire playthrough. We need to get a little defense on Hoppip so we can use it for the double battle before we get to Rustboro, even out those stats. So we just need to swap it in and out. Just leer the C-Dot until it uses Bite and not chance it backlashing on us. Excellent. Excellent. Let's use Doduo for these next couple of fights. We'll get Aerodactyl back in later. So yeah, Krish, I don't know if you're still there or not, but I'll put this in the chat for you. But this is the document that'll let you see the Pokemon that we've used for different types, and what we still have available in the pool. I have that available for users to browse. Ooh. Very nice, Doduo. Alright, being the glass cannon that it is, let's go ahead and give an Oranberry to Doduo for this Zigzagoon fight. Good damage. It's going to be a range, though. We're going to be just short from taking this thing out. Oh, no, perfect. Good job, Doduo. Alright, let's go back to Tropius. So we are going to get the first 2 episodes in today with a break in between, because the grass training takes a while to get him up to level 15. And these first 2 episodes, of course, are going to be shorter because there's a lot less gameplay in between these gyms and a lot of grass training early on, as it usually is, or as it always is. But we'll get these first 2 episodes done. And we'll see an evolution next episode. We'll see Hoppip go into Skiploom next episode. Oh, thanks, Krish. Try to give some nice, tools, documents, things, you know, items for the viewers to be able to stay involved as they like. Hey, excuse me, sir, would you happen to have a fruit bush? Attack. Oh, he gets the sand attack. Come on, Aerodactyl. You can do it. Nice. Good dealio. Oh, and you learned agility. Wow. We got defense next, so we're gonna give that to Tropius. That Harden is not gonna save you, and gotta bam. All right, let's get Bullet Seed here. It's some berries. Let's teach Bullet Seed to Hoppip so it can actually do stuff. We're gonna go ahead and swap Aerodactyl out for the Zigzagoon. Very nice. Alright, And then we'll swap Tropius and Hoppip up so we can do the next fight and the double battle. We need to get a little special defense on Tropius, and there is a Lotad in this fight. I should be able to do that with. Swap that up. Bullet Seed! Hey, thanks for the follow, Krish. We do Pokemon every morning around this time. If not at this hour, then it's the following hour, because we also do Assassin's Creed throughout the week. Hope you enjoy. Hope you follow along. We're going to be finishing out Emerald here. Like I said, we have 12 playthroughs left on Emerald, and then we're going to be starting everything over again on Fire Red and Leaf Green. Alright, we go back to Tropius for the Shroomish. And then after Fire Red and Leaf Green comes Platinum, and then Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and so on and so forth until I die of old age. Because I will not have enough time to play all the Pokemon that there possibly is. Excellent. Alright, double battle! Tropius and Hoppip versus Lotad and Seedot. Go ahead and take out the Lotad. Good critical. Very nice. Alright, so it is using Bide. I think we could, but it was slow. I'm confident we could take it out before it gets that off. Specifically with Gust. Alright, let's swap Aerodactyl up to beat up on these last Magikarps and get some nice fish in its diet. One more. Excellent. Alright, let's grab this X item to sell. And then let's get cut. We will teach this to our HMU. Heal up. Sneeze. Oh, sorry. Alright, so this is where we'll end this episode for this morning, but we will be back on with another episode once we get done with the grass training to get up to level 15. It just usually takes like an hour or so. Krish, if you got sound alerts or whatever, if you want to hop back on later, just keep an eye out for when I come back online. I always do that timer when, as an announcement whenever I'm coming back online. So we will be back on later for our next episode of this. Until then, we do hope you all enjoyed. We'll see you all next time.